Now let's look at the presidential action. What are the choices that the president has once he receives a bill? He can either approve or veto, but there are actually four subcategories of those actions. So let's look at those. The first one is approval and signature. So the president receives the bill from Congress, the president likes it, the president approves it, the president signs it. So president must take action within 10 days. So you see here it says president receives the bill, signs it within 10 days, gives it a date, and have it enrolled to become law. So that one's straightforward. Approval and signature. The second choice the president has is does not sign but allows the bill to become law. Now, how is that possible? That the president doesn't sign the bill, but it still becomes law? Well, the scenario there is Congress is in session, the president receives the bill, does not sign it within 10 days. So you see that 10 days is essential in this presidential action process. So Congress in session, president doesn't sign the bill within 10 days, that bill automatically becomes law. And it may just be a scenario where the president doesn't want to veto something, doesn't really want to spend the time or energy on refuting something, so he just allows it to become law. The third presidential action is pocket veto. Now, what does that mean? So this is not a straightforward veto. A pocket veto is when Congress is adjourned, and that means Congress is not in session. The president receives the bill, does not sign it within 10 days, but that does not automatically become law. So the key scenario between does not sign but allows to become law and the pocket veto is the status of Congress. So if it's Congress adjourned and the president doesn't sign it within 10 days, does not automatically become law. That's a pocket veto. Up here, does not sign but allows to become law says Congress is in session, president receives it, doesn't sign it within 10 days. That automatically becomes law. Then the fourth presidential action is the veto, which you commonly hear about. The status there is the president receives the bill, he does not sign it, but returns the bill within those 10 days. So within 10 days, Congress is in session, president receives it, he automatically returns it. For whatever reason, he doesn't like a portion of that bill or doesn't agree with a portion of that bill, he has to veto the whole bill and return it. However, remember that by law, if 2/3 vote can come from the Congress, that's the House side and the Senate, collectively, if 2/3 of Congress agree against the president, then they can override that presidential veto. And that bill does not have to go back to the president for the president to sign. So if the 2/3 vote from Congress wins and they override the presidential veto, the bill becomes law without going back to the president for signature. Now, let me talk about line item veto. Sometimes that'll come up in the realm of this conversation. Note here, Line Item Veto Act of 1996. That was a law that allowed President Clinton to do line item, meaning he received the bill, and if there were portions of that bill that he didn't agree with, he was allowed to mark those areas off, delete them, scratch them out, then sign the bottom of the bill, and that bill becomes law without those particular areas. So eventually, under Article 3, our courts got involved, and they deemed that that process was unconstitutional. So then that law was revoked. So these are the four choices for the presidential action once he receives a bill: to approve or veto or just allow it to become law. So thank you, and I'll see you guys again next time.